Coach Wiseman, thanks for joining us today. The Broncos are coming off a very important 2-1 win over Bowling Green. And with this standing shifting to points per game, you have a logjam there and about 5 teams that are capable of winning this, with 2 huge games against Akron coming up this week.
Yeah, it's been a crazy season for more reasons than we have time for. But very competitive Mid-American Conference right now. I mean, from an RPI standpoint, we're the number 1 ranked conference in the nation out of 24, with a couple of them not playing this spring. But, I mean, we're down to the last regular season week, here. So it's no fluke. And the win against Bowling Green was a huge win for us. You look at their result yesterday to beat Akron 1-0, and we watched the game, and they were very deserving of that result. So, puts them into the top 15 of the RPI. And, we got a lot to play for in this last week. We just got to take it one game at a time. And we have a tall task in front of us to go play at Akron on Wednesday. Akron is probably one of the best teams in the nation playing on their home field. And we're preparing for that. And we'll get the guys ready the best that we can to go down there for that challenge.
And how has the MAC risen its level of soccer to such high standards nationally, being the top-rated conference in the country?
I think it starts with Akron for sure. They won a national championship. They've lost in a couple national championships in the last 15 years. The bar has always been raised in their program. I think the head coaches around our league are phenomenal coaches. They know how to recruit to their institutions, and they do a really, really good job of preparing their programs. And, a lot of people probably don't understand that West Virginia is in the MAC for men's soccer. If they were in the MAC for any other sport, they would probably make the MAC a lot stronger as well. It's a Power 5 school playing in the Mid-American Conference. And then we have another affiliate in SIUE, no American football down there. So they throw a few more resources into their soccer program. And Coach Cal does a really good job down there. And then you got your normal members in Northern Illinois, Western Michigan, and Bowling Green. And Coach Swan has done an unbelievable job over at NIU. They have had some unbelievable results this year, and they've been growing under his tenure. And Eric Nichols at Bowling Green has been very consistent in what he's done. But I think every coach has their own niche, and we certainly have it at Western Michigan. And the funny thing about how strong our conference is a lot of times we don't find ourselves recruiting against each other. So that's a dynamic that is interesting, I guess, when you look at it. But I attribute to the head coaches really moving their programs along to the success of the Mid-American Conference in the men's soccer.
One big thing you guys did in that win over Bowling Green is not something you've been able to do a whole lot this season, and that was start fast. How important were those 2 early goals, and then how do you shift that over into the game plans for Akron this week?
Well, I think I've said it several times. This 2021 COVID team has challenged our coaching staff, myself obviously included, and as they start to form their identity, it's probably not one of previous teams. We concede probably a little too easy at times, but we're scoring goals, and we have multiple goal scorers. I think we have 8 or 9 goal scorers at this point in the season, and none of them are named Charlie Sharp or Brendan Creek, and those guys are definitely capable of scoring. It's just guys rising up and taking their chances. Mike up top has been very consistent for us, and he causes havoc for everybody that we play against. And I thought he did a really good job in the Bowling Green game. And at the end of the day, he finds himself with, a nice goal. And then, Dylan Singh has kind of come on this season. A lot of the development between the freshman and sophomore year, you can really see it. I think Dylan's confidence is growing, and he's playing multiple positions for us. And when he gets his chances inside the box, he gets in some really good spaces, and he's scoring goals. And, that game against Bowling Green, we find ourselves up 2-0, 25 minutes in, and really against the run of play. And then I'm proud of the guys to be able to see that result out. And I think that result is really going to help us as we move forward into the last week here.
Chad, can you describe the rivalry that's developed between Western Michigan and Akron in soccer?
Well, I mean, I guess before I was the head coach, I don't think that Akron would say that there was a rivalry. I mean, in order for there to be a rivalry, both teams have to win, I think. And certainly Akron has won more than we have in this rivalry. But in recent years, we've nipped some results. I think that Akron respects us a little bit more than what they did maybe 10 years ago. They know that we're a very competitive bunch of guys, and that we're not going to back down, and that we're going to, go right after them, and we're not going to sit deep, and they know that. And we know that Akron's going to try to play through our defensive press. But I think that both programs having success, obviously Akron for an extended period of time, but that ultimately brings mutual respect. And, this season, when you're playing home and homes, which we've never done before, brings a unique competitiveness to the rivalry. And we're going to play them 2 times in 4 days. And so I expect a lot what happens on Wednesday to probably carry over into Sunday's game as well.
How about postseason, Chad? How do you see the MAC in the NCAA tournament, given the strength of your conference in terms of teams making it to the postseason?
So I think that's a really good question, Robin, and I'm not sure I have the answers, but I can talk about it a little bit. There's 36 teams that are going to the NCAA tournament, and only 12 at-larges, right? So the rest are AQs. Being the number one conference RPI-wise, traditionally speaking, I would expect for us to get a second team into the NCAA tournament and potentially a third, depending on how this last week goes. It's not going to be easy, though. I mean, there's a lot of other really good conferences out there that probably would make the same argument that they deserve to get in. And so I wouldn't want to be on that NCAA committee. But when you look at 2019, Western Michigan, we were the last team left out of the dance, and that was a tough pill to swallow. And if the tournament was to start today, I think we'd probably be one of the last teams left out as well. So we got some work to do. But any win that you get in the MAC jumps you so high because of the quality overall. And we got 2 great opportunities this week to pick up wins and better our resume. But we're still in the mode. We've done a lot of work to be in considerations for at-large, but we're going after the MAC championship this week. The AQ. And if we put a week together like we're capable of, all that lies in front of us. So it's nice to be able to have the opportunity to maybe get into the NCAA tournament either way going into the last week of the regular season. But we also know, hey, if we don't perform this week, we could be left out on both ends as well.
The other thing about soccer, I don't think a lot of people realize how physical it is. I'll tell you what, in the MAC anyway, you guys get after each other.
Yeah, I mean, if you were to ask the other MAC coaches, I would probably say they'd be uniformed in saying that maybe we're the most physical team in the MAC right now. We get up and we like to engage in our defensive press, and that's the sport growing. And I think one of the things that makes the MAC very unique is the different styles of play, and we're certainly finding ours this season. And we expect to compete pretty hard against Akron on Wednesday.
All right, Chad. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Go Broncos.
Thanks, Chad.